Yeah, it was. I'm actually lucky to be alive. No joke, no joke.
Really?
Yeah, let me just get the zoom up here. This is YouTube, and then okay, yeah, it was. I'm actually lucky to be alive. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah. So, so my wife and I are getting ready to go see a play last night. We went to go see this play that's coming. It's called Couples Therapy. It's supposed to be really funny, couples therapy, and we're going out last night and going out to the car. Car's outside warming up, and there's this patch of ice on a slope. If there's anything worse than a patch of ice, it's a patch of ice on a slope. Well, I go flying. My legs went out from under me, and she watched this happen, and she said I flew up about 3.5 feet, and I came crashing down on my back and my head. She heard the thump on my head, and honestly, I thought that was it. I couldn't move, and it's snowing. I couldn't move. She calls the ambulance. The ambulance comes. They take me to the hospital and did a CAT scan and a X-ray, and so we were there for a while. And turns out, believe it or not, I'm telling you right now, God was looking out for me. Okay, without a word of a lie, I'm okay. I was okay but I am so banged up now, John. I've been on painkillers and my right arm is pretty well destroyed, and my right side, my neck, my chest, my back, my oh, man. It's easier to tell you what's still working rather than what's not working anymore. So, so. The strangest thing, I don't have any bruises, no bump on the head, nothing, nothing. So please be careful. Your whole life can be destroyed in a split second, and it's just it's just like that. So
My word.
that's right.
You
Yeah.
never know. You never know. You just be damn careful.
You got
Wow. Well, tomorrow if you get up and if you feel like you're not up to it, just let me know. But it's great that you're okay. Thank goodness. Thank God. Yes.
thank
Oh,
you.
my word.
Totally. So I might have you lead. I might sit in the back seat there as the co-pilot in the trading room. Just have you lead it, and I mean, I could probably just do the PowerPoint. Just hand it off to you. Maybe show you.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I mean, whatever,
Yeah.
on these things, like you said, you gotta take it easy. Don't push it because there's no reason to, zero reason to push it. The main thing is you get better and the take it easy when you need to, you get better faster.
Well, and I always said, guys, as long as I have a breath with me, I will be online. So here I am. I've got.
Well, you'll be online, but just, we won't push it too much. That happened to me when I had a bike crash, and I went down hard, hit my head and that sort of thing. And,
Hmm,
and, I tell you what, folks, must have been 7, 8 cars past, didn't even stop. And
really? Bicycle or motorcycle?
bicycle.
Bicycle.
And yeah, it was a weird thing. I was making a turn and there was a truck there, and some of those trucks sometimes lurch out, and when their air brakes don't work just right. And I saw it, scared me, overreacted, hit a patch of gravel, went down, and but the point being, you got to take it easy because I was trying to get up and do everything right away, and I remember looking back at that and saying I had no business doing what I was doing afterwards. So the point, take it easy,
Yeah.
make sure
Take
you
it.
feel good, and get back when you're ready. But yeah, you can be there in the background. I know you won't, like you said, you'll be there no matter what, but I think we can all handle it. We'll do it.
I appreciate that, John. I know I am in capable hands with you. That is never a question. So
Well, good. All right. Well, then we go. So, what do you want to do tonight, Hugh? You want to talk
uh,
about last week first,
we
or
can
what
hit
do
the
you feel
record,
like?
hit the record button and go through this PowerPoint real quick, and then we'll chat it up, whatever.
Okay.
So let's go. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to DayTradeSPY.com's Week in Review. My name is Hugh, along with John, and I am so glad John's here. Please use the questions box for any questions or comments you might have. I'm going to give you half a second here to read this on your own. And while you're reading it, the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe, are leading 17-0 over Kansas City, which is, interesting. So, are we at the halftime show yet? I don't know. Anyway, second quarter. All right. You alone are responsible for all your own trading, and past performance does not guarantee future results. Oh, that's it. Good trading, everybody. Okay, there I am. Still alive. Alive and kicking. But anyway, to be discussed tonight, last week's review, the upcoming week. We're going to talk about the 2-minute tutorial, a scalping workshop I want to talk to you about if you're not already signed up for that. And then we're going to answer your questions. All right. So, first of all, who are we? My name is Hugh. All right. Early, deep in the trenches. That's where I learned everything that I teach. Most of what I teach. This isn't all theory that I'm teaching you, folks. What I teach you is stuff that I learned the hard way, and I think that's where you learn it all. So I discovered some cool strategies that worked very well for me. When people saw that I'm doing very well, they said, "Well, what are you doing?" Because obviously yours is working and mine's not. Others noticed, they coerced me to start teaching them, and I've been teaching people since 2010. I'm just looking for short-term breakout trades. That's all I do. So, and John, my good friend here, tell us about your background, John. It's all yours.
Well, yeah, I've been around a bit. Uh, seems like every 5 years I went a new career till I found the stock market, and that's where I stuck. But yeah, I was in the oil and gas industry. Got out when there was no jobs. We all had jobs, and then 6 months later, all those jobs were pulled because we went in the worst recession since the Depression. At the time, it was the worst one. And so, that I always said that's the best thing that ever happened to me, not having a job, going to work for a big oil company, because I had to go out on my own and I had to rely on myself, and it worked out just fine. I was 24 and running a crew of 35 guys who were all older than I was, and they kind of wondered how that happened. Well, you just work hard and you make things happen. And plus, I was an early adopter of computers. What can I say? That helped a lot.
What a
But
match made in heaven.
that anyway, after that, I decided to go to law school because then the oil business slumped as well. And I enjoyed that a lot. Met a lot of very intelligent people, and a lot of jerks. Everyone's the smartest guy in the room with that crowd, but it was a lot of fun. And then one day, I just I met my wife there, and we got married. And we worked at the same firm because they'd rather have two good attorneys than lose them both if they had a rule that one of us had to leave. So we met there, and we were on our way to shareholder, and we decided one day we didn't want that life. And, lo and behold, I started trading stocks. And next thing you know, that worked out pretty well. And 25 years later, well, here I am. It's been very good to us. And I think we've helped a lot of people along the way. And, quite frankly, that's what keeps me doing it. Eagle called me a while back and said, "Hey, you want to come back? We got a really interesting service going on. I think, it's right up your alley." And I looked at it and I was interested, and I was really interested. I said, "Man, this is what I used to do." And yeah, to be able to talk and do this. And I met Hugh, and it was, it's like we fit hand in glove. And here I am, loving it, loving it. Like my
Well,
wife was saying the other day, she goes, when you were, retired, I was worried about you because you'd ride your bike and, take care of the farm animals and help the guys doing that. And, you didn't seem to be that much into it because I'd planned on being with her all the time.
yeah.
And, but she hadn't sold her company yet. So, when they called and she said the other day, you're loving this, aren't you? And I said, "You're dadgum right. I'm loving it." So yeah, it's great. So that's where we are now. And I'm trying to apply my philosophy. I have two things I want to do. One thing is I'm going to take what the market gives me, whatever it gives me, I'm going to take it. And number two, the reason I do this is because I want everyone I can meet and show this to be able to do what they want to do when they want to do it. And that's my definition of your own success. And for everyone, it's different. But if you want to spend time with your grandson, as I like to do, okay, that's what it takes. So that's what we're here for. And that's a kind of really short run of my wild and crazy life. But let's get after it, Hugh.
Well, it's so funny that not funny, but it's very interesting, coincidental, whatever you want to call it. That's because that's exactly my philosophy as well on this thing. And I'm sure you and many others in this business have met people who are oh my gosh, they discover something, they hit on something by accident. You think they can replicate it, maybe they can, maybe they can't. But excuse me, so many people in this business, oh my gosh, you know, they their flatulence doesn't stink, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, they think they are God's gift to the, oh, who am I if nobody, like, oh, come on, okay, you're nobody, you're nobody, But anyway, I mean, I enjoy teaching people. I love to see successes. I don't think there's anything that excites me more in this business than to see these, the wins that come in every morning in the trading room and different things. And you're absolutely right. Take what the market gives you, helping others. Isn't that what we're here for?
You
Um,
bet. And I love it. I'll be texting he during the mornings, just saying, look at all the money everyone's making. It gets
yeah,
me so fired up when that's happening because that's what I'm here for. I've done it, been
totally,
there, done it,
totally.
but this is what's exciting. And, I can't wait to teach. My grandson's just turned over 2 years old. I can't wait to teach him to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
That's going to be the fun. That's going to be the fun when
When I
all that
taught
happens.
my kids that same thing, I felt very liberated, I felt very good knowing that my kids know how to make money so that, if anything or whenever something happens to their career, whatever, they're not tied into this thing and struggling and wondering, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And you can always go back to the market and and make money as you need it. And it's just
Right?
as long as we have a stock market, you have that opportunity to do so. You don't even need to have a lot of money to start with. Some
No,
people
just,
need a
yeah,
million dollars.
exactly.
No, no, you don't need $1 million to start. No, far from, far
No,
from.
well, people, I have found in um, my history of doing this that people who have a lot of money who do it tend to lose the money the most at first
Yeah.
because they think that they can just apply what they learned to make their fortune to this. And it's not exactly the same thing. As we've talked about several times, it's not exactly the same thing. It's not hard. No, you just have to think a little bit differently, and that'll get you there. But that's what we're here for.
All right, let's move on. Just a reminder, Spy in the Market. This is our free newsletter every Thursday. It goes into your inbox. It's just a very brief read. If you're not a subscriber yet, go to daytradespy.com. When the pop-up comes up, leave us your email address. We'll send it out to you this week. Kind of a very elementary topic, options 101, just terminology. Excuse me. This is for people who are just starting out with options, and sometimes we assume that everybody knows all of this terminology and whatnot, but there are a lot of people who join us in these Sunday night sessions and just subscribing to our newsletter. And I thought, well, we'll just give them a very brief overview of some of the terminology and kind of a refresher for anybody. And just so that's going to be coming out there. And maybe not very exciting for many of you, but that's kind of what we're doing this week. So options 101 terminology. Another reminder, John and I got to update this. I didn't get a chance to do so because I was in pain, but we're going to be both at the money show. Well, I assume you're at the money show. Is that right? No, last time we were talking, you're planning on it. Are
Yep,
you are going to be there? Okay.
I will be there.
I don't want to speak out of line here, but yeah. So we're going to be there, and that's coming up uh, Wednesday. Well, we're going to be on stage Wednesday, February the 19th. We are going to be at the entire show. Well, at least I am. I guess I'm assuming you are too, which is the 17th, 18th, and 19th. I'm flying in on the 16th. Um, assuming all goes well, getting there and whatever, but I will make that assumption. And so that'll take us into some good weather, hopefully, in Las Vegas. And if you'd like to come out and meet us, we'd love to meet you. All right, so check it out. All right, what else do we have to tell you about? Okay, so here's what happened last week. Just going to expand on this very quickly here. Monday, as opposed to the previous Monday, we had was it the Deep Seek or whatever it's called, the Chinese AI that tanked the market. Well, this last Sunday, I should say, tariff implementation threats against Canada and Mexico collapsed by right down to test 590 in pre-market. We dropped quite a bit there. Some pretty good support came in, attracted buyers, and despite some inflationary pressure from PMI reports, we did pop back up on Monday, as we predicted. On Tuesday, there was still some hesitation in pre-market, replaced by optimism at Trump's press conference later in the day. Pushed SPY to test 602. Then Google came in. I think there's a lot of anticipation with Google earnings. They kind of disappointed, brought the tech sector down, and along with it, SPY went down again. On Wednesday, lower than forecast services PMI spent SPY higher, recovering much of Monday's loss, mainly fueled, by the way, by Trump's 30-day delay in implementing tariffs on Mexico and Canada, so there's a bit of a reprieve there. Of course, there's some conditions on that. Um, Trump really wants these countries to beef up their borders, and rightfully so. And what I've been hearing is that Canada seems to be in the spotlight with this leaderless situation going on right now. The Prime Minister who I'm seeing is pretty useless, to be honest with you. Pretty a dictator kind of a guy. But anyway, he resigned, and now they're in the middle of a leadership race. I think they're going to be. I think there's an election coming up or something. But anyway, until that happens, a few months out, uh, Canada is viewed around the world as a place to go to your best friend in order to get into the U.S. So they go to Canada first, they slip in through the border, they take their drugs with them and everything else, and Trump wants this to stop, rightfully so. Same with Mexico, and he's really coming down on the illegals and sending them back, and it's about time that he's taking control of it. But anyway, this sent SPY higher into Thursday, and we had higher than expected unemployment claims. Also kept SPY afloat on Thursday, and then we had another jitters with tariffs striking again. Not really sure what exactly happened on Friday with that, but that this came back in the news again. More volatility going into the weekends now. Apparently, this is what I've been reading. SPY gave back much of its gains during the week, settled back into the 600 range. So there's this something back with tariffs again. I'm not really I'm not I can't speak intelligently. Maybe John, if you know what happened, chime right in because I know there's
Yeah.
talk about other countries around the world too that he wants to get tight
Well,
on.
we had
So
anticipated some profit taking on Friday and it got out of hand. It came early when the Michigan sentiment came. The interesting thing was early on is that the market overcame a couple of stories and still pushed higher. Amazon's revenue guidance was not what the market wanted, but it came back from that. Then we had the jobs report that was hot and cold. The hot being the labor costs, and that is a problem. And came back from that, but it seemed like the Michigan sentiment coming in with high inflation expectations was just one bridge too far, and the market started selling at that point. And I was hoping to get a double bottom, a little some kind of action. We really didn't get anything at all. It was just, hey, we're done for the week. They took their profits. There were some support breaks, and we'll talk about that. I don't like the way things have. It's the market is starting to consider bad things happening. But there's some more Trump. There's some more Trump. Yeah, it's Trump news, I guess you'd call it. Tonight, Trump has said that there's going to be a 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum entering the United States, and that's just going to give more a further rise to this concerns of not knowing what's going on. I actually think it's pretty clear what's going on, and we can talk about that some. But the point being, steel and tariffs now, steel and aluminum are going to get a 25% tariff, no matter where it's from. And
yeah.
it's interesting because one of the companies I have an interest in, we make products out of aluminum, and it's important, and you can really tell the difference between quality aluminum and what you get from other places such as China that crack when you bend it, that type of thing. And ever since the Ukrainian war, where there are a lot of the aluminum and the elements that are used to make aluminum or additives to it to make it for certain better for certain uh, practices or uses, that's been a problem. And we've seen aluminum up 300+% in price. And this isn't going to help, that's for sure. And it's probably going to add a little dampening pressure on the market.
Well, when you have steel companies in the last few decades, excuse me, like I know up in the Bethlehem Steel closed down. That was a massive steel company. We're getting with cheaper steel coming in from China. It's a problem, and
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'm just guessing that many of these problems you're not going to see until later on, when you start seeing the steel, corrode or whatever happens to steel. It doesn't last as long. It's not the quality. I don't know again, but
Well, we get this problem like we had with Boeing with substandard steel being used in parts. It's counterfeit steel with the mislabeled name stuff. When we make molds in one of my business, we have to use S7 quality steel because those molds will last us a million shots, and
Huh.
it's worth the money up front to pay for it. And now it's absurdly expensive to get that, but it has come back down some. But yeah, it's you pay the price for it. I had one of the guys who did manufacturing for us, and we were trying to find some polymers that we could use that were generic brands that we would be able to do what we wanted to do. And we kept having problems with them breaking. And he gave me some good advice once about this. He said, John, you know what? You drink good champagne, you don't get a headache. And he goes, his point being, use good quality materials, you won't have those problems. And so it's good and bad because it's going to be more expensive, but we may get better products, as he was saying afterwards. And one of the things that happened on Friday was that, remember, Japan was wanting to buy U.S. steel. And the
Yep.
problem with U.S. steel was when Trump had his last tariffs in his first term, U.S. steel just didn't upgrade. They didn't do what they should have done during that time, and they remained a decrepit, behind the curve steel company. Well, Japan said, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to buy it and we're going to make it better. And
Yep.
Trump says, U.S. Steel should just make itself better. So what happened? He got Japan to agree to $1 trillion investment in the U.S. and they'll get some of U.S. Steel on for that money. But what he's doing is, and he's also got $1 trillion coming in from Saudi Arabia. It was 500 billion. Now it's going to be $1 trillion. And there's another country that's slipping my mind now. He's bringing in investment. I always said that the way for the U.S. to get out of a lot of its troubles is to make our country the place that every country and every company wants to invest in. And you do that with lower regulations and lower taxes and get rid of all this, the corruption. I mean, I can see it. I've been here. I've seen it all my life. And so it looks like they're trying to do that. And ultimately, that's a good thing, but it's going to have its impact on the market near term. And we're seeing that in the volatility that we're getting the past 3 weeks. Big down days, big up days.
Yeah. So many times what happens is you get an administration like this and they make some tough decisions and and sometimes this short-term pain. But people don't see it that way. They see, well, things were better with the previous administrations and they vote the other guys in, the ones that created the problem, this never-ending cycle. Um, and it just goes on and on. So, but
Parents, parents with rules for their kids and expectations versus parents that don't have rules and expectations. Short term, it's better.
yeah,
It seems better. Longer term, it's horrid.
but they'll come back and thank you afterwards, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here's a seasonal chart on SPY, and again we have here the, um, the blue line at the top is where SPY is now. The red line at the bottom is a composite of the last 5 years closing price on the daily charts. So if we zoom in here, we'll see that SPY historically rose about 5 points last week, but pretty much stayed the same in the coming week. All right, it stayed the same. So I'm not sure where it's going to go from a seasonal standpoint. We basically have a no change week, a no change week. Last week, we had the U.S. economy stay resilient despite trade and policy uncertainty. Consumption remains healthy with positive real wages. Corporate earnings growth remained on track for double-digit returns in this year, and the S&P so far is up about 2.5%. Canada and Mexico tariffs are on pause for now. They had a reprieve of about 30 days until they kind of get their act together with the border issues and some other things. So we'll see what happens then. And I have no doubt that Trump is going to be reviewing that in a month's time. And if he's not happy, here comes the tariffs. So brace yourself for some possible tariffs. But I'm pretty sure they'll be scrambling to get things in order. Here's the average wage growth outpaced inflation this last year. They're saying this should continue this year into 2025. We've got CPI lower, average hourly earnings, so we're in a good spot as far as the wage growth here. So that's good news for the economy. Trade policy uncertainty has spiked to its highest level since 2019, and this is because of the tariffs, obviously here. But we've been sort of, I don't want to say too stable. It's been pretty bouncy, but pretty low. In 2019, we had a situation, but now again, the uncertainty has spiked up, and I know there are a lot of groups that are saying, "Well, hang on, these tariffs are going to affect us, and leave potash alone." We get 95% of our potash or whatever the huge number is from Canada. You start tariffing that. We use this for fertilizer in the agricultural industry, and it's going to hurt us, and food and everything else is going to go up. So there's going to be obviously adjustments made to this energy and different things. So, but we'll see. This will all wash out, folks. It always does. You saw how it went up in 2019. It came right back down again. As a matter of fact, this we had the U.S. dollar, spiked up, came back down again this last week. It was, things are always changing. So anyway, again, the S&P is up year to date 2.5% as we get into the middle of February. We dropped 0.2% this last week. Dow Jones average and the Nasdaq also dropped. But the Dow was up 4.3% year to date, and the Nasdaq is up only 1.1%, due largely to the tech sector and some disappointing earnings that brought some of those stocks down quite a bit. All right, before we get into next week, see what happens next week, I'll give you a chance here. Let me know in the questions box. Going to do a little interactivity here. This is new. This is a poll I'm throwing out there. We hear President Trump repeatedly saying that he would like to see Canada become the 51st state. Would you support such an initiative? Yes, no, or maybe, depends, whatever. Just punch it up in the questions box how you feel about that. Just curious to see what the reaction is from this. This is like a 5 cent poll. It means absolutely nothing, and but just a curiosity. That's all it is. So yes, no, or maybe. All right, what's coming up next week? Sorry, John, go on.
You want to throw Greenland in there as well?
Greenland, and let's see, the Gaza Strip, and we're going to rename the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf America. Like, I think we've got enough fodder to keep us busy for a long time to come on this stuff. Maybe, well, Greenland would be a different initiative, and if I put that in there, I'm not going to know what the yeses and nos are going to pertain to. I suppose we could do this. Okay, all right, let's do this. Okay, let's see. Greenland would like to take over. I'm just writing this up here. Greenland. Okay, Greenland. Would like to see um, Greenland become part of the U.S. Okay, there we go. Would you support such an initiative? So if it's yes, give me a one. If it's, and I'm going to show you this in a second, give you it. Okay, so for Canada, just put yes, no, or maybe. But if you want, we're going to talk about Greenland now, then punch up one, two, or three. Okay, so in talking about Canada, the answer is yes, no, or maybe. If it's Greenland, a one for yes, two for no, three for maybe. This way we can differentiate which poll you are referring to. Okay. All right, good stuff.
John H. makes a point, and if futures are higher after this announcement on the 25% tariff, so it's going to be interesting.
Futures are actually higher. Yeah,
Yes.
that's the thing. This is uncharted territory that I know. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I think it depends where the dominant force is going to be. And are you going to be worried about inflation? Are we going to be more concerned about investment in the U.S.? So there's going to be a lot of uncertainties that are going to come out here. So. And we'll go back and reassess the poll results later. So let's get on with the week ahead. Monday, low, no news day. Tuesday, we got Fed Chair Powell testifying day one of a 2-day meeting in front of the Senate Banking Committee. This does this, I think, what, twice a year, once a year? I think twice a year. And Wednesday, he's going to be doing it second day. And Consumer Price Index is also going to be on Wednesday. I understand that Trump and Powell are not going to be going at it like we sort of thought they might. I think Trump wants to reduce interest rates in a different way. or stimulate the economy in a different way, not just monetary policies. So, going to see how that happens. I know he was putting the pressure on Powell. You got to cut interest rate, got to cut interest rate. But Powell says, "I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm not going to quit." So, this this conflict has always been this little friction has always been there. But Thursday we've got unemployment claims, PPI numbers coming out on Thursday, and retail sales on Friday. And what this means for volatility, low on Monday. I put it at high on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then Friday back to medium with retail sales. So we'll see if we make some money on those days. So you can make some pretty good money in volatile days, as we've seen in the past. And we've done okay on this for the most part. All right, now a 2-minute tutorial. Developing patience is what I've got here today here. I know sometimes people say to me, how are you supposed to develop this thing? You keep talking about patience. Well, I'm not a patient guy, and personally, I'm not a patient guy, and that's why I talk about this. So there's some things you can do. First of all, commit to paper trading first. If you're just starting out trading, don't jump into trades if you don't know what you're doing. Yes, you can make money and yes, you can lose it all, but do you want it to be a gamble or do you want to have some real solid basis with which you're going to make money? And there's a fine line between the two. All right, commit to paper, trade a lot first. Sometimes we say 50, 60, 100, whatever paper trades you need to get actually really good at this. And when you stop paper trading, get into real money, don't just do it cold turkey. Here's what I like to do, and I like to tell people, do 10 paper trades, then one reel. Then go back and do another 10 paper trades, one reel. Then do 9 paper trades and one or two reel. Make this transition easier so that you're kind of getting used to it in a different way. Sometimes I feel there's no such thing as paper trading, and John, you might agree with me, I don't know, because when you trade real, those emotions kick in when you're watching your equity bounce up and down like a yo-yo, and then you see it evaporate, and then you see it, move up like crazy, and it does a real number on your emotions. Whereas with paper trading, well, it's just paper. It's monopoly
Well,
money.
when I played football, we used to call that practice punters versus game punters. In practice, I could kick the ball a long way. And they go, well, John, you kick it as far as, further than our punter. Well, so they put me in the game. I shanked the damn thing for about 10 yards, So, there you go.
It's a whole different thing, isn't it? It's not the same. So. I tell people, look at the bigger picture, right? Stand back and see, well, okay, maybe the market's going down now. Maybe it went down 3 points. And when you're looking at it, say, on a 1 or 5 minute chart, that's a lot. But when you pull back, you look at a bigger, say, an hourly chart, you say, we're still in that range. And we're not, we're not in the thick of anything here. It could find some pretty strong support to go back up or whatever. Just kind of pull back. It gives you a little calming effect. I think it does anyway. And recognize that prices are going to vacillate. They don't go in straight lines up or straight lines down. And oftentimes when it does come straight down, it's because of some news item, but you're going to see a level of support. It's going to push back up. We've seen this numerous times over the last several weeks. So just hold on for the ride, right? Hold on for this. You're on a roller coaster. That first big hill's coming down. Hold on tight. You know it's going to come back up on the other side. So just hang in there. And once the event passes that's pushing it down, you'll see the markets generally, come back into some sort of a equilibrium or something. Number four, always buy time, even if you expect to be out in minutes, because that's just one less stress you need to have on your shoulders, right? Buy time. Don't worry if the options cost more. You're going to get it all back when you sell. It's just that theta loss is a lot less when you have time on your side. I'll give you an example, right? The price was going up pretty good on Friday, and then all of a sudden it just collapsed. Whether it was profit taking or Trump tariffs or somebody said, it doesn't matter. The price came down. Well, if you were sitting in same day or next day expirations on Friday, you're toast. You're toast. You know that. The market would have to go up way, 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 way higher to make up and what are you going to do? You're going to cut your losses and oh my gosh. But if you have time, you're going to lose some, but it's not the end of the world. You can actually still make up for it. You know, you got, and in this case, we were in some. I think I'm still sitting in some calls for next Friday. I'm not the least bit concerned right now. I've got ample time with which I can either let it come back organically, or I can repair it, or I can cut my losses for, a lot less than if I was holding, Monday's expiration or something like that, right? Always buy time, even if you're going to expect to be out in a couple of minutes here. If you're still restless, go back to paper trading. Okay, I know it gives you the jitters when you're in real, and if you feel that way, go back to paper trading until you get your body and your psyche and everything again accustomed to being at one with the market is what it is. And number six, I like this one here. Develop patience. Go fishing. Go fish. You see this guy up here is actually fishing up there. Now, here's what I do. By that I mean do something that is going to make you develop patience. I remember as in my younger days, I didn't have any patience. I pray to God, God, please give me patience. So what's he do? He gives me kids. Gives me kids. Gives me kids. You're gonna have patience. So here's a little trick I do. Now, I haven't done it in a while, I will admit, but I used to do this. I would get on the interstate, and now I have fast cars. I like to go fast. My cars are very good. They're very comfortable going fast. Um, and no, I don't drive a Chevette. You know, remember those pieces of garbage? Oh, but anyway, uh, no, I like my BMWs. Anyway, but what I do is I will go the speed limit on the interstate, and usually I'll do that like at night or something in the slow lane when I'm not disrupting traffic, because all these people like to go by me and they give me that salute, you know. I am the only one and my wife hates it, so, but I don't do it with her anymore. But what I'll do is I'll say, okay, I'm gonna work on my patience. I'm gonna drive the next 10 miles driving, 55 or 65, whatever the speed limit is, and I'm not gonna, block traffic or anything, but I'm just gonna go very patiently, and I will realize that when I get to that 10-mile mark, I will not have, lost any more than a minute or two or whatever in time. But I'm forcing myself to slow down, smell the roses or whatever, slow down. And I feel like it's like a muscle. The more you practice it, the more patient you become. Uh, I don't know, maybe golf is another one or something. John, I'm sure you ride your bicycle. I don't know if that's something that inspires patience, but um, do something else that's going to, calm your nerves a little bit and just, get a more realistic perspective on everything and don't be so jumpy, don't be so jumpy in the market. So,
Right. Yeah, my mom, for me on bike riding, it's usually if I'm getting kind of hard to be around, my wife makes a suggestion that I go take a long bike ride. Yeah, yeah. But it must do the same thing because it calms you down, get in a better mood. Find what you like to do and do it. Or what I used to always say is sometimes I just have to sit on my hands. Just don't touch that keyboard.
yes,
Just take a deep breath. Let something go get you a glass of tea, a glass of water, whatever. Things always look better 99% of the time when you get back. If
yes.
it's enough to make you get up, yeah, it's usually better when you get back.
It's so true. It's so true, if you're jittery and you're in and out and oh my gosh, the market's going against me, I'm going to sell and go the other way and then somebody made a comment here earlier. I love this one. I got to go find what they said. It was a 90% rule or something like that. Let me go dig it up. We got a lot of comments here tonight. By the way, guys and gals, thank you for joining us here tonight. I know there's that Super Bowl football game on, and they never responded to me, John. I emailed them and asking them, listen, can you move your Super Bowl to a different date? It's kind of conflicting with my Sunday night webinar, but no response. Here it is. Alexi said this. It's the 90% rule. 90% of people lose 90% of their money in 90 days when they start trading. That's probably pretty accurate. Pretty accurate. And the way I look at it too is, and that was actually one of the reasons that attracted me to options trading, believe it or not. I felt that I don't, you know what, if I'm just better, a little bit better than most of those people out there, because most people do lose their money, they blow up their accounts, but there's always new people coming into this business. If they're going to lose their money, they might as well lose it to me, right? Everybody knows the rules of the game, and I really think that if you're going to lose money, you know what? I'll be happy to take it from you. So if I can just get a little bit better than you guys, then I'm good with that.
You only
This
have to outrun the bear. You don't have to outrun the bear, just the person you're with.
exactly true, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Hey, someone suggests a glass of wine for me because they know I like wine. And for a second there, I panicked. That was Alexi. And I panicked because I do have a glass of wine sitting on my desk, folks. It makes me better. I found here I used to skeet shoot a lot, and I was pretty good at it. But I'd get too amped up when I started. And I found if I drank 2.5 beers, I was really good. If I drank three, I was bad. So I found out 2.5 beers, and then I could go out and shoot pants off. But yeah, no, you got to relax. You got to just find your groove. I don't recommend going out and drinking, and handling firearms. That, in retrospect, was an absurd thing to do. But you find your groove, find what makes you calm and go with it. And, it's easier said than done. I get that. But think about what you like. Think about what you like to do, and then, use that as your out.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, totally. Lots of opportunities every day. And here's the other thing. If you miss an opportunity, don't worry about it. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Many opportunities every day. And we show you how to spot them and how to trade them. And I love your philosophy on this whole thing. Take what the market gives you. You don't have to take everything out there. I laugh at these people. When I first started this, I would go to all these different gurus and all these other guys out there. And I used to, I would always be so appalled when they would say this. They would always say, well, if you bought at the bottom and sold at the top, you would have made this much money. Well, hey, pal, did you know that was at the bottom and at the top? No, of course not. You didn't know that until the day. How could you have known that? Nobody knows that. Nobody. Not Jim Cramer, not the market, not the market maker. Nobody knows the bottom and the top until after the fact, right?
Oh
So,
yeah, I love those charts where you go to a seminar and they show you a 5 week, 5 month, whatever chart you want to see, and they go, "Well, you should have bought here and sold here. Should have bought here and sold here." And it's like, wow, we really should have done that. You're right. I just like, I remember getting up one time and I'm just like, and he go, and literally call me out. Where are you going? I said, I'm gonna get something to drink. This. I said, you've got it figured out. It's just, I know I'm that kind of personality though. So.
I used to go to those seminars, and I remember I remember they even asked me to leave once. I say, no problem, pal. I closed my books. I always ask the presenter because they're so compelling. And I'm not here to slam anybody. Don't get me wrong, but I would ask them, so this is very compelling session you're getting. So you, Mr. Presenter, you trade this yourself? And do you know, John, they always said, no, I don't trade. It's too risky for me, or I'm just the presenter. Now, thank you for your honesty, but I was really surprised
Practice
because
punters.
it is unbelievable. So you're telling me what I should do with my hard-earned money, but you're not confident enough to do it yourself with your hard-earned money. And that always surprised me. Like, wow, yeah, I should have gotten when it was that at the bottom, and I should have gotten at the top. But anyway, and the other thing used to always floor me was when they would call the trade a success if it only made 3 cents or 4 cents or some ridiculous thing, you know. And I would say, well, that's fine, but you wouldn't have sold it for a 3 cent gain or a nickel gain or whatever, unless that's their strategy, and I'm going to show you scalping in a
But
minute.
and I'll tell you, I've sold stuff for a 5 cent gain, but it's because I probably didn't bank my profits when I should have, or something happened, and
Right,
I
right.
felt good about getting out of it at that level because the market was turning on me or what have you. Yeah,
Ex-
that's okay. That's fine in that situation. But if that's your goal, you're going to
Really?
get killed.
That's your goal? Really? Is that really worth the risk? You're risking all that money for like next to nothing? Anyway, I'm going to talk to you about a little bit here about our scalping workshop coming up. I'm sure you've seen the promotional material, but tonight I think we should talk a little bit about. John and I are going to be hosting this. You are going to be on, John, or you're going to
Yeah,
be
of
on?
course.
Okay, I just want to make sure I sort of assumed that because
Well, I'll be here.
nobody I'd rather have on with me than you on this thing because this is a really good match. I love it, and you bring so many great insights into this thing. It's unbelievable. So we're gonna have this Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, and you should probably budget an hour and a half for it. If things go real hot, we'll go longer, obviously, but. I don't want people to say, "Well, I only give an hour, and I got to go back to work or something like that." If you do work or whatever, sneak away, just tell them, whatever. But if you miss it, it's not going to be a problem either. So learn and earn. We're going to be interactive with you guys, hopefully. Okay, it's going to be exciting. Hopefully, we're going to be profitable. So what we're looking for here is we're going to see if there's setups there. We're going to take the setups. We're not going to force a trade. We never force a trade, but if the setup presents itself, we'll take it. Okay, so I can't promise we're going to trade, but I will say this: the last time we had this, I think we did a call trade and a put trade, and maybe something else, and they were all profitable. And I didn't realize at the time, John, but there are a lot of people that were trading along with us, and they made a lot of money. They made some pretty good money. So, and these are going to be short-term, heavy investment positions. Small gains multiple times a day. Okay. When I say heavy investment, I'm not talking about $50,000 or even 20,000, nothing like that. You might make say a $5,000 investment or something. Okay. But you're kind of going a little on the heavy side and you're just going to take small gains and just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And what we're going to do is we're going to review the chart setups very quickly and the indicators. Not going to spend a lot of time on those. Make sure you do have a good understanding of what calls and puts are and what these indicators are that we deal with. Okay, so you kind of want to make sure you're there. And we're going to master our trade setups, entries, exits, and more. And the webinar is going to be recorded for later review. So if you do have to cut out early, or if you're going to miss it, don't worry about it. Buy it anyway. You're going to get the full recording. You're going to have access to that for a long time. It's going to be well worth your while, all right? And of course, if time permits, we're going to have a Q&A session. So hopefully we'll be able to answer all your questions on the scalping workshop. The best part is, folks, okay, I spend more than this when I take when I take another, we take a couple out for dinner. It's easy to spend over $200 for dinner these days. That's not a big deal. And this webinar, this workshop costs you only $199. I mean, that's nothing. You know how easy it is to lose $200 in a single trade. I don't have to tell any of you that. Okay, so spend the money, learn all this material, go over it, study it, master it, get good at it, and you'll just see how much your trading can improve with this. So um, you should either contact customer service at DayTradeSPY, tell them you want to get in on this, or go back and check your emails from Eagle, and just log on. Or you can go to the website, daytradespy.com. If you go to daytradespy.com, you will get it'll come up at the top right side, right corner, I believe it is, under online workshops right here. Okay, if you click on online workshops, you should have it right here. You can register right there. Okay, so just click on that and you'll get all the information there, and I think it's gonna be well worth it. This Tuesday, 11:30 Eastern time. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Okay. I'm just kind of going. So I understand that I don't follow rap. Okay, I'm not a rap guy. I don't like rap, but I understand this guy Kendrick Lamar. He's a real famous rapper or something. I don't know if you follow this stuff, John. I don't, but I understand he's got a new live show, and his the entertainment that precedes him is actually the football game, the Super Bowl. So I think people are bought tickets for the Super Bowl just to see this guy. I don't know. I think I saw that on a comic somewhere. I thought that was pretty funny. But I think right now, I don't know if they're doing the halftime or not, but still 24 to nothing, is it? I can't remember now. It doesn't matter. All right, let's move along here. Okay. Oh, wow. That was quick. We're opening up to questions. Any questions there, John, we can address? Let me
We
take a
got a
look.
lot. We got a lot. We want to make sure that we cover trailing stops on the seminar. I think that would be good. That's always something that's important to understand. And we'll give you we'll talk about how we do it. And we'll show you on Thinkorswim and how it's set up on that. Um, the spy here on the spy chart, the gray area, which is which. It actually depends on how you set it up yourself. I have my after hours as gray and my regular hours as black. Why? I don't know. I just do it that way. I do it that way because I get better contrast off the black. And so for me that works. I don't know what you prefer on that one, Hugh, and how you have yours set up.
Yeah. Well, I'll go over that on Tuesday. I mean, this session's really to
Yeah.
introduce people to that and stuff. We have our
Yeah.
training we do every day and stuff, but I said, and I got a question here from Susanna. She says she's done the trading room but could not keep up. Okay, so I kind of want to talk a little bit because that kind of segues into that whole thing, John, where look, if you're in the trading room and you're not really getting it at the beginning, it's like anything else. The longer you're staying, the longer you stay with it, the more you engage, the more you're going to get out of it. And really, even if you're sort of lost with it, don't worry about it. You're going to pick it up. You're going to pick it up. Ask questions. We repeat a lot of things over and over and over again. And if you're sort of stuck on, well, what's this theta loss? You keep talking about this theta. Ask the question. We're more than happy to answer the questions. That's why we're there. So you'll find that there's just only so many things that you can talk about on this thing, but because it's so repetitive and so many new people all the time, we keep talking over and over and over again about these things. You will pick it up. The key is to stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. Uh, just like anything else. You ride your bike, John. Do you remember maybe a very long time ago when you first learned to ride a bike as a kid? Did you fall off? I sure did.
I
Um,
I still have I was banged up so much. I always trying something new.
I I'll never forget it. I thought this is ridiculous. Here as a kid, I don't know how old I was. I don't know, 5, 6, or whatever. How how is this thing supposed to stay on two wheels? This doesn't even make any sense to me. And I remember my father would hold the seat in the back and kind of run with it, and then he would let go. And I wasn't going fast enough, and then the front wheel would kind of spin around. I go flying, and I had bruises all over my hands and stones and stuff. I thought, oh boy, I hate this. I never want to get on a bike again. But next day, do it again, get back on it, get back. And before you know it, you know, once I learned how to ride a bike, they never saw me again. Then the rules changed. When the street lights come on, you have to come home. That's so.
Yes. Yeah, the old days, be home at dark.
The
Yeah.
old dark. But
Yeah, that's one of those things where, since it's the culmination of the football season tonight, they talk about the game slowing down for you. And that's literally what happens in everything. Once you're exposed enough, you're out there taking live snaps or you're taking live trades, you come to the point where it does slow down for you. You get it more. And I tell you, there's times it'll still speed up too much. And when it does that, when things are happening that fast and you're not quite getting it, that's when you just say, hey, I'm sitting on my hands for a while. I'm going to let things calm down till I am comfortable again doing it. And if you have to take some time off from trading, sometimes like we talk about,
Yeah,
you just got to get where your comfort level and you'll see it. And it's really cool because you'll get there, you move, you progress. And then one day you're just doing it. It's like one day I was riding my bike and this hill was always kick me in the tail every time I rode it. Just, oh. And then one day I was almost to the top of it and I realized I feel great. That's how it's going to be.
it'll be that. And then you're gonna say it was well worth it. Let me give another example. I'm a private pilot, and I remember when I learned I could do the takeoffs, I could do all the air work, stall spins, all that stuff. but I couldn't land that plane to save my life nicely. You know what I'm saying? I was sort of float, hope to land on the runway,
You
And
must know that guy that I was on a plane with the other day.
oh, well, runways have numbers. Runways have, and yeah, the objective is always to hit the numbers, right? You to land right on the numbers. And I remember asking my instructor said, "Am I ever going to learn this? Am I ever, He said, "Yes, yes, actually you will. You won't even know it." He said, "Always," he said, "don't forget, the landing starts 5 miles back and get the configuration and vision where the plane's going to be, how high, how fast, all these wonderful things. And one day, you're going to land. And it's what we call a greaser, where you don't even know you've landed. And on the Cessna 152 that I was using, I said the 152, 172 doesn't matter, but I could see the wheels. I can just look out and see the wheels. And I remember once I landed, but I didn't feel the landing. And I'm looking down, am I on the ground? And I see the wheels are spinning. Oh my gosh, that was a greaser. And you know what? And I was on the numbers. I was on the numbers. It just suddenly it clicked. It clicked. And from there on, it's like it wasn't a big deal anymore. I was landing on the numbers. Every time. And the one time I even blew out a tire when I was learning this, and they said, "Okay, the first tire we'll pay for it. Any other tires you blow out on a hard landing, you pay for." So, but it was, but it came to you like it comes to you, and that's what's going to be like. And I see traders say that too. They'll say, I was losing and losing, but when I go back in my log, I see the last 38 trades now are winners. They're all winners. Like, wow. So somewhere along the line, I kind of figured it out. I don't even know where. So, all right. A lot of yeses in a few no's to Canada joining the 51st state. Okay, a few no's. Not sure's, a few not sure's. What about Greenland? Uh, Greenland, a lot of yeses to Greenland. Oh, there's an O to Greenland. I can't help but think of World War II, where they wrote the borders in pencil on the map, didn't they? Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, it's just uh, I sometimes I think, it's probably not a bad idea, consolidate your power. Imagine having free trade and lower taxes, and I mean, there's a lot of positives in there. So I don't know. Well, maybe not take over as the 51st state, but maybe some sort of an economic union like Europe. That might be
Yeah,
actually
just so yeah, and to borrow from the business world, just a joint venture,
joint venture.
where
Perfect, right? Right? You know, um, we don't have a lot of time here, but I did a little study on if companies were countries, and I did a study. I was actually going to do that for one of my newsletters. But I didn't have enough to fill in the space that I needed to. But I'm just kind of looking to see. It's actually really interesting when you see it. Let me just take a look here if I can find that. If countries were if companies were countries. Isn't that funny? Now that I'm trying to find it, I can't find it. So
of
I
course,
do I'd have to dig it out. But that's always the way it works, isn't it?
of course,
I don't know. Yeah, I know where it is, but I'll have to, maybe it's in my deleted drafts. Maybe it's in my drafts. Hold on a second. It's really interesting to see what it would be like and just how how big some of these companies are. Okay, I don't have it handy. One last place, junk mail. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't have a screenshot of it, but Apple is valued at 3.419 trillion dollars today. 3.41 trillion dollars. To give you an idea of how big Apple is, Apple would be bigger than it would score number five. Okay, so you're comparing the capitalization of these companies to the gross domestic product of the countries. So Apple would be number five, larger than India. I think it's second to, or number five to, I'm going to pull that up here. Let me just see here. GDP, bear with me here. GDP of countries. I just had this up. Their ranking. By here it is. Okay, they were so the USA is number one. All right, with right here. Okay, in comparison, here we go. All right, so now this is really interesting. And again, I don't have the companies, but I'm just telling you, Apple would score number five right in here. I believe just under India with their capitalization at at 3.41 trillion. So they would be number five after the US, China, Japan, and Germany. And then there's Apple. Apple. Um, Amazing. Let me see. Number two, Nvidia, 3.179 trillion. They would, I don't want to go through the whole Magnificent Seven here, but I'm just kind of giving you an example. Nvidia would come in at number six. All right, number six. Just Nvidia, that would be 3.179. They would be over the UK. They would be under India. So here's a chip maker company that has greater capitalization than the gross domestic product of a hundred. What's it? What is it? We have 177 countries. They have more capitalization than GDP of something like 171 countries. They are number six over the UK. It's amazing. Uh, Facebook, Facebook, 1.810 trillion. They would come in number 17. They would come in at number 17, slightly higher than Saudi Arabia, Netherlands, Turkey, all of these countries. So and this is actually really amazing. They're valued at 1.81 trillion. So they're over Saudi Arabia. So here's a kid, Mark Zuckerberg, who he should be higher than the king of Saudi Arabia, the presidents of all these countries underneath, Poland, Switzerland, Turkey, Netherlands, Belgium, all of these countries underneath here. He should have more power than all these other countries. Um, it's pretty amazing when you look at it. Even, believe it or not, if you go down to, and I don't have it here handy, but number 100 on the S&P 500 list is BlackRock. And I'm trying to find those numbers I had for BlackRock. They are listed in the S&P 500 as number 100. They have a market cap of $219.62 billion. All right, and that is roughly the size of Greece. If I go down here, what did I say? $2.19 billion right here. So they are roughly the size of Greece. Again, overshadowing Algeria, Kuwait, Hungary, Ukraine, Morocco, all these other countries down here, Dominican Republic, all these countries, Panama, Sri Lanka. Look at this. BlackRock. BlackRock. Who thinks of Black? They're not on the Magnificent Seven. Anyway, it's just an interesting concept. And anyway, just threw that in there. So, all right. What are the quick questions here? Oh, yes. Did anybody see the newsletter about who wins the football game and how the economy is going, how the stock market's going to go? I think if the NFL wins, then we're going to have a bullish year at the end, and if who is it? Would it be the
The old AFL.
AFL? Then we have a bearish year.
Yeah, it's the original NFL teams. And I think Philadelphia is an original NFL team.
Okay, yes, I think so. So right now, last I see the score, Eagles are beating Kansas City Chiefs 24-0. Does that mean we're going to have a bearish year?
Well, it could, but you also have to factor that just we've had an up January.
Yes. We're a long ways to look at. Don't rely on a football game
And you
to
know what? It doesn't matter because we're going to play it whichever way it goes.
bingo. That's right. That's right.
It's fun at the office pool, but as far as making money, we don't care. We'll fish out of either end of the boat.
Oh my God. I love these comments. Johnny L. Here's a guy who's been with Day Trade Spy. Well, uh, I think he was with us and kind of coming and going, but he's been hanging around here a lot. He says, "I want patience. I want it now." LOL. I love it. Eric. Eric says, "I took my driver's test in a Chevette. No offense against Chevettes or anything, but uh, I
You
take it back.
know,
You're not driving a Chevette anymore."
yeah, I remember it just makes me laugh about these cars because back when I was a kid, there was like I think it was a Ford Pinto or something, and it was having all these rear end crashes that would burst, cause car to burst into flames, and then there was the Firestone, some kind of tire that was tied to a bunch of car crashes, and there was this cartoon where this lady said, "Oh, honey, thank you so much. A new Ford Pinto with Firestone whatever tires on it."
Yeah, but if we switch cars, you drive that. It's.
Yeah. Don't get me on cars. At least I didn't fall and hit my noggin today. But we picked up one of my wife's cars from her ragtop, and it had a. They said it had a cracked coolant reservoir or something. I don't know. Maybe it got too cold. I don't know. But anyway, we're driving it back, and well, she was driving it back, and I was already home. She calls me and says, "Oh, you got to come get me." And I said, "Well, what's going on?" She goes, "Car overheated." It dumped out all of its coolant. So I just called up the AAA and said, haul it right back. So yeah, cars today are a sore subject, just as frozen hills must be a sore subject with you. Literally a sore subject.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Several weeks ago, I saw one of those shorts, YouTube shorts. Some of these are really funny. It was a lady. I guess she called her husband and said, "Oh, the car broke down." And he's going, "Well, what happened?" "Well, no, it just stalled." And then the guy came, some big major engine trouble or something. "Well, what happened?" Well, the guy says, "Well, what kind of gas you put in?" "Well, I put that holiday Christmas gas in there." "Holiday Christmas gas?" "Yeah, the one with the green handle. I thought that was diesel, right?" "That's diesel." What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
I thought I was gonna split my side laughing so hard. Oh, and then of course he gets mad at it. It's so fun. These people that come with some of these shorts, I don't know where they get that creativity from, but it was so funny. And they're so good at it. But anyway. Oh, you know what? We are here longer tonight than I thought we would be. And I love you guys. I don't know, I always say I'm gonna keep it to an hour, and then here it is. Always going over. John, it's always a pleasure talking to you and everybody, the comments are, even though we don't get back to all your comments, each and every one of you, thank you. We do read them. Um, would we have unlimited access to the recorded version of the scalping event? I don't know how unlimited or for how long, but you'll have ample access to it. So you'll want to get in on that one for $200. No, $199. Seriously, really, really? I spend more than that on coffee in the course of a week, mostly for other people. Do you ever do this, John? Do you ever go to a coffee shop and you pay the next guy's coffee and donut or something? You ever do that?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
We
I
used to go in when we would go, my wife and I would go to lunch together, and if there was a group of soldiers there, we'd always pick up their tab.
yeah. I do that a lot for people. Like I'll get and this and listen, if you ever want to put a smile on your own face,
Oh yeah.
it doesn't cost you a lot. But when you next time you're at the convenience store, or I even do it sometimes, at the grocery store, especially young ladies with kids. I know that they're struggling and they pull out their wallets and they're counting the pennies and the nickels. Oh my gosh, here we go. So I'll just go up here. How much is it? Put it in the thing here, and I just put my credit card up there and bang. You swear they won the lottery when that happens to you.
You'll make someone's day doing that, and
Makes
that
their
someone is your own day.
Total stranger out of nowhere, no strings attached, and they pay for your thing, and how it makes me feel. I gotta be honest, I probably get a lot more satisfaction out of looking at their response than they do. I love to see the expression on their face. And it might be even just a gallon of milk or something, and it paid what, a few bucks or something, what's it gonna cost you? But you made their day, you made their day and they love it and stuff. Anyway.
It takes so little, but you get so much reward from it. And and that's I hate to keep harping on it, but I love hearing the stories of success. And that's every time I hear someone who has been able to adopt a kid that they never thought they'd be to, or something like they'd be able to because of the cost. It's just, those are the things that stick with you forever.
Yeah, for sure. Folks, we're going to wrap it up here. It's 9:12 Eastern. Have a good one. The recording will be available later on online. So, John, thank you so much. I'll see you in the morning.
We'll see you in the morning here.
Shine brighter than the moon and the sun. Be great at what you do. Give it all of you. And trust the process and keep your eyes on the prize. I can tell you.